welcome to Watch Me Go Broke. You know, Valentine's Day is rapidly approaching, and this year I think the ladies should take initiative. So guys, I want you to leave the room and get your girl in here. Get him in here. Yeah, I know. They're probably putting on makeup or something, I know, but get him in here, get him in here. All right. Ladies, now what are you gonna get for your little devil for Valentine's Day? How about a devil diver? Of course, I'm talking about the Bulova Oceanographer, a reissue of a watch from 1972. Let's awkwardly bend over a table and take a look. Okay, folks, I just had to show that Bulova ad. I think that ad is really cool, and it makes the watch look great. On my wrist today, I am wearing my Parnas GMT Batman. I am not above Parnas watches. I think for the money, they deliver quite a solid package. And there is the devil for your devil, the Bulova Oceanographer. Now, I've heard a few reviewers and some other folks call this the Oceanographer, but there is an O in the name unless I am missing something completely, like maybe it's Irish. Oh, look everyone, here comes Paddy Oceanographer. But anyway, I do have a tendency to mispronounce things on this channel, so there's quite a possibility I'm doing that now. You've got a 44mm case, 46.5 with the crown. It's 14.5 thick with a lug-to-lug of 46.5 millimeters. 20mm lug width, tapering down to 18 at the clasp, back up to 20 with the clasp. There is a double dome sapphire crystal with an inverted cyclops. This watch is going to be powered by a Miyota 821D movement with 21,600 vibrations per hour and a power reserve of 42 hours. Since this watch is relatively new, it's hard to find detailed information regarding some of the specifics of the watch. I'm speaking mostly of the bezel insert. It appears to be sapphire, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong on that. I don't believe it's ceramic. It appears like it is covered in glass. You can kind of see on the edge there by the 10, it's raised up like there is glass over the actual insert. Now, I get blasted from time to time for not telling you the correct number of clicks in this unidirectional bezel. So we are going to count the first 15 seconds here so we can see together how many clicks this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So 30. So 30, 60, 90, 120. 120 click unidirectional bezel, unless I completely did that wrong. And as I said in the intro, this is going to be a reissue of the Bulova Devil Diver from 1972. This re-release looks virtually identical to the original from 1972, only the case size is different. And some of the techniques that they used on the 1972 version are also apparent in this re-release. If you want to look closely, if I can get it, the Bulova logo, all of those letters are actually, there you go, you can kind of see it there. They're actually connected together the same way that was done on the original Devil Diver. And you have the indices are actually set like they would be set in, now bring your ladies back into the room here. Okay, I'll wait. All right, now, if you look at the indices, it is set in there like a certain stone on a certain ring. Yes, I'm speaking of possibly an engagement ring that your boyfriend may or may not be getting you when he's good and damn well ready. But of course, I digress. Each of the indices does have loom at the bottom. They're not loom filled. I think the indices just kind of sit on top of the loom. I will try something new, doing a live loom shot. Okay, there you go. So a good substantial amount of loom there. There's not any information that I can find on what type of loom it is, but it certainly does glow well, and I can assure you that this does glow throughout the night. So you've got Bulova Oceanographer on the dial just below the 12 o'clock indice. Automatic snorkel, 666 feet. That's why it's called the Devil Diver, for that 666 marking there. And that is just a little over 200 meters. I think it's a 200-meter watch. They're just goofing around, those silly gooses. The dial is really cool and interestingly done. I already showed you the raised indices. And because the indices are raised, the lollipop really doesn't have the opportunity to be able to reach to the end of the dial. So I think that must have been a design choice that Bulova did, where they're just like, well, we really like those indices, so we're just going to kind of, you know, work backwards from the indices, like reverse engineering. I feel like that's what they did. So you have a chapter ring basically on the inside of the indices, which is highly unusual. So the lollipop seconds hand can reach, and you can tell the seconds. Now the lollipop seconds hand, I really pick apart lollipops most of the time. I'm actually okay with this one. Sure, I'd prefer to have the lollipop all the way at the end or back a little bit further, but I think with this kind of retro design, it works because the dial isn't traditional anyway, so I think you can pretty much get away with whatever kind of handset you want. But this is very 70s with that blue-green dial and the blue-green on the bezel insert. I just think that looks absolutely cool. You won't find another watch that looks like this, that is for sure. It is very, very unique. And ladies, if you are still in the room and you are not completely disgusted with me yet, you can find this watch for your gentleman at Macy's, an American department store. You'll find it crammed in with a bunch of Citizen watches, apparently, and also displayed upside down. The case back, screw down case back, nothing really special, just some etched printing, Bulova, sapphire crystal, stainless steel, some other serial number markings, and divers watch 200 meters. And they can put divers on this because this is an ISO certified scuba divers watch, which is cool. The bracelet is going to be a friction pin bracelet. I've heard some conflicting reports of that. I can assure you it is friction pin, but the friction pins, if you look at them closely, they almost look like they're screw pins. They are not. They are definitely friction pins. The bracelet does have a diver's extension right there, so put on your wetsuit and go to town. The bracelet, I would say, is comparable to the Seiko Jubilee bracelet that would come on an SKX. It's kind of that quality. I think it's, you know, appropriate for this watch. This is a redesign of something from the 70s. And this bracelet is actually a little bit better than what you would have gotten in the 70s, I would think, with this particular watch. Stamped metal clasp, really, you know, pretty cheap, but appropriate for the time period with 3 micro adjustments. So what do I like about this watch? Well, this thing is cool. It is so cool. I can't describe to you how cool this is. I've never seen indices like that on a watch. Maybe it was common in the 70s. I haven't seen it. I love how it's set in there, like it's set like a diamond on a ring. I love it. I love the type of font they used on automatic snorkels, 666 feet. Looks great. The applied Bulova logo, fantastic. I love the bezel with the sapphire coating over it. The crown, actually, the action, signed crown, by the way, Bulova, is really good, and it screws down. I'm not going to do it, but it's quite a distance to unscrew and to rescrew, so it kind of gives you that confidence of water resistance that, you know, It's not like an Orient where you might screw down the crown maybe 2 or 3 times and then it's supposed to be 200-meter water resistance. It doesn't give me a lot of confidence in that regard, but this definitely does. I love the sapphire crystal, how it sets above the bezel. It just makes such a cool look, so retro. The case, cushion style case, the lug-to-lug is just about perfect for something like this. I like the bracelet too. The bracelet, for being you know, somewhat cheaply made, is very comfortable. And the watch is very light. It's a big watch, 44 millimeters, but you wouldn't know it. The bracelet is very light. The entire thing is very light. It's just so comfortable, and you do forget you're wearing it. What do I not like? Well, it's hard to really pick apart something from the 70s that's been faithful to the original design. Clearly the Cyclops does nothing, so that is a little bit of a negative there, but the frame date window, it looks cool. I would say the movement is something that I really don't like. I have watches with Miyota 8200 series movements, and I've never had a problem, and that's not what I'm talking about. And I think this movement would be appropriate for this time period of watch, even though it didn't really exist back then. But anyway, the style and maybe the quality of the movement is probably appropriate to this, what the original would have been. So putting something really fancy in it really maybe doesn't go with the whole theme of the watch. And plus, you know, if this would ever break down on you, you just throw the movement away and get another one. They are about 20 bucks, so nothing special there. So the price of the watch is also another negative, and I can mention this price actually because my wife does know about this. I did show it to her and asked her if I could have it for Valentine's Day, and she said no, and I bought it anyway. But anyway, so this retails for $7.95. That is not what you would pay for it if you do some snooping around. I went to, like I showed you earlier in the video, Macy's, and it was $700 there, which was quite unfortunate. I've also found it on Amazon for, I think, $420 or $430, something like that. But then I snooped around on eBay and I was able to find it brand new for $395. So I think $395 is a pretty decent price. If you can get this anywhere between $300 and $400, I think you're probably doing pretty good. I don't know if that price even justifies what you're getting here, but there's such a coolness factor to this that really can't be beat. And there it is on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. Like I said, very comfortable bracelet. The lug-to-lug is great, so it doesn't wear too big. It is thick, so you're going to notice that you're wearing a relatively big watch, but man, just looking at that dial, looking down at that dial in that blue-green color, it's just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Well, there you go, the Bulova Oceanographer. If you can get past the blinginess that's probably going to attract every single shark in the area once you go diving, I think it's a really cool watch. And if you do your research and search around, you can probably find it at a reasonable price. So ladies, I'm looking in your direction this Valentine's Day. Make it about the man.